in my insurance network. You're telling them right up front, I'm done with this garbage. Now, by now you're thinking, and you should be, I guess, maybe, well, the government should do something about this. How am I supposed to do this? And healthcare providers should do something. And I'm going to tell you, yes, they should, but they already did. They mandated that you buy healthcare insurance. They mandated that your doctor share your private information with everyone but you. And doctors, healthcare, invented the HMO. Yes, indeedy. In 1971, a doctor invented the first HMO. They mandated all this. And Congress created the ability for hospitals to overcharge you and to put you into debtor's hell. They know that bills are sold and resold and resold. And you know what they've done about it? Nothing. Isn't that awful? And they know that some of these nonprofit healthcare facilities and religious nonprofit healthcare facilities are suing patients and putting liens on their property or garnishing wages over bills that they wrote off. And yet nothing happens. And they get to keep their nonprofit status. It's not a cool thing. And I agree with you. Congress could easily fix this issue, but so could the hospitals and providers. It's so simple. All they need to do is require each provider on their staff or who has privileges to work at their hospital be in every local insurance network and accept assignments. And you'd be done. You wouldn't have to do all this work to see who's in your network and who isn't, because they would be already. No more surprise bills. But I suppose they're making a lot of money on that because they don't do that. So while we suffer the consequences of practitioners who don't contract with the network, and we have probably never met them and never will meet, they're just going on as business as usual because they don't want to take the extra time to get contracted. So now what do you do if you're listening to this show and you're like, oh my God, I wish she would have told me this 6 months ago before I had surgery because now I've got bills laying all over the kitchen table and some of them have spilled over onto the dining room table. Here's what you need to do. You can deal with it on your own or you can hand it off to someone to deal with it for you. It's cumbersome, but you can do it. When you receive your bill after the procedure, first and foremost, make sure it's really a bill. It might be an explanation of benefits from your insurance carrier. Don't throw it away. You need that EOB. Explanation of benefits equals EOB. But it'll say on it, this is not a bill. Start a file folder or a big envelope or a separate stack, whatever you want to do. But put it in there and add any paperwork that you received at the hospital. Save all of it until you know that you're done with them. When you get the bill, make sure it's itemized. If it isn't itemized by procedure code, call them and ask for an itemized bill or send them a letter and tell them that this bill is in dispute because it's not itemized. They cannot start collection when it's in dispute, but you must dispute it in writing to protect your rights. A phone call is not going to cut it. And remember, anything you say to these people on the phone can and will be misconstrued or used against you. And if you do think that you can call them and get this cleared up, don't even think about giving them your bank account number or credit card number because the next thing you know, that bill is going to be on your credit card or withdrawn from your bank account. So just like everywhere else, do not forget anything you say can and will be used against you. Now, once you get the itemized bill, make sure it's your bill, got your name on it, and your identifying characteristics like, oh, say your date of birth, last four digits of your social security number, or your insurance card number, whatever it is, digits and letters all strewed together. So make sure it's really yours, and then make sure you received each item on the list. One of the ones I recently reviewed had duplications where the patient didn't actually get two surgeries on one day. They only got the one. That was $30,000 right there. Uh-huh. Highlight any errors. Now it's time for another letter. If you find mistakes, send them another letter and tell them the bill is in dispute because it has errors and list them out and tell them to send you a corrected itemized bill. Then sit back and wait to see if your insurance company pays for it. But if the provider was out of network or the amount is over the insurance company's limit, it's time for another dispute letter. Tell them you dispute the bill because they use non contracted providers against your wishes and you didn't agree to that. All right. Do not take their phone calls and do not offer to pay any part of it. And do not enter into a payment arrangement because the bill is wrong and it's in dispute. Make sure you have written down this is in dispute and you mailed it in. You saved your own copy. Okay. If they threaten to send it to collection, you can just tell them it's a disputed bill. They cannot send a disputed bill to collection. But I'll tell you on the front end here, sometimes they do it anyway. So remember to keep all of this in writing every step of the way. Now you see why people reach out for help on this, right? It's very annoying at best, especially if you're still recovering. And it's time consuming too. But the big problem is they count on you not knowing your rights. They count on you not being willing to fight for your financial health. And they count on you being frightened enough to pay a bill that you may not actually owe. Now, if they are in network and the insurance company has paid every single penny they're going to pay, and you may be left with a co-pay, in which case you can negotiate that and get a smaller bill. It's the copay. The insurance company already paid a great big chunk of it. They're going to be so happy they got that. So the copay, you can negotiate. Send them a letter. I don't have the full amount. I'll be glad to give you this amount if, and make sure you get this in there, if you mark it paid in full. Send me a letter that says you will mark it paid in full, and I'll send you what I've got. Okay? And a lot of times that works because they already got the biggest chunk of it from the insurance company. What you pay, that's just gravy on the top for them. Okay? They cannot count on your knowing your rights if you don't know them. So make sure you know your rights. Make sure that you're willing to fight for your rights. You do not want thousands or tens of thousands of uncollected bills on your credit report if you did not authorize them. They also don't count on the fact that you have a money coach and you're not afraid to use it. So if they're threatening you and you don't have the money or you don't think you owe it or the bill is just flat out wrong and you need help, I'm cool. Just reach out. I will do what I can to help you in every situation, but it is so much less expensive for you to get help before it goes to collection. So if you're starting to amass bills and you see this and you are frustrated and you don't feel well and you don't want to do all this work because it all went by so fast and you're like, I'm not a writer. I don't know how to do this. I don't have a computer. Whatever the reason, just reach out and get help. Somebody somewhere, including me, will help you with that. So do not let them intimidate you into paying that which you do not owe. It's going to be difficult enough to pay what you really do owe. All right? So you're not that weak. And now, after you listen to this show, you're not ignorant anymore either. You know you have rights and you know you have someone in your corner. So you can do this for yourself or you can get help to get it done. But if you try to prevent surprise medical bills, and I know there's still going to be times when you just can't prevent them, especially these emergency room visits, then what you want to do is get help as soon as you realize you need it. And there's no shame in getting help. What the shame is the people that are creating these bills and putting you in this position to begin with. So I want you to take responsibility for the most important things in your life because you will be so glad when you're in the driver's seat and you can say, I got this. Honk, honk. Get out of my way. I am moving on with my life and I'm not going to be the underdog anymore. I'm driving now. Uh huh. I got it. I'm on my way. Okay? That's what I want for you. So you get your little driver's seat and you'll be on your way. And before I go, you know what I'm going to tell you. But let me give you my email address one more time, just in case. rcmoneycoach@gmail.com. And the website, it's in the middle of being refixed, but it's still good. rcmoneycoach.com. There's a little button there that says contact us, so you can get me that way too. And of course, Rhonda Cobb, the money coach, is also on Facebook. It's pretty hard not to be able to get to me. And remember, my mother spelled my name Ronda, no H. All right, before I go, don't forget, be grateful and you will attract good things. Thank you for listening. Until next time, I am Rhonda Cobb, the money coach, and I get results.